Hi everyone, welcome to Greeklish Outdoors. Today we are looking at the Fiskars knife with sharpener. So, stick around. So I'm working my way through a few Fiskars products at the moment to get an overall picture of the quality of the items that Fiskars sells. And I came across this and thought it was quite interesting. As a knife, it's kind of a competitor to the MORA knives, but in this knife's case, it has a sharpener which is integrated inside the little holster. That means every single time you put the knife back into its holster, it gets a little sharpening from the integrated sharpener, and therefore you're doing it little and often and just keeping that blade edge topped up all the time. That's the idea behind it, but will it work? So the holster itself is nothing overly special. It's just a plastic holster which can clip onto your belt. It is flexible with quite a bit of give, so it's not going to break instantly if you get your holster caught on anything. And then there is the sharpener, which you can see there. So it doesn't go the whole length of the case, it's just a very, very small sharpener right at the beginning. So when you slot your knife in, you push it all the way through the sharpener until it's locked in place. And that is supposed to keep it nice and sharp all the time. This knife is often sold under the name General Use Knife with Sharpener or Universal Knife with Sharpener. Now Fiskars do make a heavy duty version which has thicker steel and it's obviously meant for much heavier use, but I chose this knife for general use when I'm out and about in the mountains or the fields, and I've been testing this out for the last couple of months. Now the handles are designed with an ergonomically contoured grip which is soft and is patterned to prevent slipping out of the hand. It also has a colour-coded impact head on the top for hammering. The dimensions of this knife are 21.5 centimeters by 4 centimeters. It has a blade length of 8.7 centimeters and it weighs 135 grams. Fiskars do state that this knife is for general use, for everything from carpentry to wood carving. The blade material is stainless steel and the handle is a mixture of 3 different types of plastic. Because of its bright orange colour, it would definitely be very easy to find if you dropped it in the forest. Straight out of its holster or sheath, it is very, very sharp. I've been using this quite heavily and I have managed to just chip the blade ever so slightly, but it still cuts well and is very, very sharp. Now let's cut a few things and demonstrate how sharp it is. Now one thing you have to do is be conscious of putting the blade along the sharpener. You can actually put the blade in like so without even having to engage the sharpener at all, or you can push it very carefully along the sharpener, and then when you pull out, pull it along the sharpener too, and it is razor sharp again. Next test for this knife is batoning. So can you baton with this knife? Yes. Should you baton with this knife? I'd say no. Just from doing that little bit of batoning there, I can see that the blade of the knife has rolled slightly on the edge there, and that will now need a little bit of work to put it right. Another reason I'd avoid batoning with this knife is I'm unsure about the tang. I don't know if it's a 3/4. It's very, very unlikely to be a full tang, and even if it is a 3/4, it could be very, very thin. Unfortunately, I haven't seen anything online about this, so that would make me wary. So obviously when we baton then, we damage the blade slightly. Can we get it back in shape again with just this sharpener in the handle? So let's go back and forth with the knife a few times. When you use the sharpener, there's definitely pieces of metal coming off the blade, so the sharpener is taking some of the blade down. Did it resharpen the blade? Well, yes, it is very, very sharp. Is it perfect? No, not at all. I can still see lots of little dings in the blade, which will take a whetstone probably to get it back to how it was originally. But that was pushing the knife probably a little bit too far. Will this knife replace my MORA knives that I normally carry with me? Probably not. And the reason for that is I found my MORA knives to take a little bit more of a battering than this one does. The thing that concerns me is that although having a stainless steel blade, of course, is very good, it is a little bit weaker than the carbon steel. And from general use around camp, I can say that this stainless steel knife isn't quite as tough as my stainless steel MORA knives. Overall, it is quite a nice little knife. The handle does feel nice in your hand. It doesn't slip. It's a nice shape. I like the lip on the edge of the knife to stop your hand slipping and potentially cutting yourself on the blade. The hammer on the end, for me, it's slightly unnecessary. I would never use the back of a knife to hammer anything in. For some people that might be useful, but for me it's an unwanted feature, to be honest. It's a nice idea having the sharpener in the sheath to keep this topped up, and if you're using it normally and not too heavily, then that would probably work and you would keep it nice and sharp all year round. But with the tasks I need this for, I think the heavy duty one would be more suitable. I will keep on using this and having it as probably a backup knife with me around camp, but it won't replace my Morakniv knives. This knife cost me 15 euros. Is it worth that kind of price? Yeah, probably. If you're using it for maybe carpentry or a little bit of bushcraft, then that's not too bad, I don't think. You can get a MORA basic knife for about 10 euros or the MORA companion knife for about 11 to 12 euros. And if you really wanted a knife that was a little bit tougher but still within budget, then you can get the MORA heavy duty for about 17 to 19 euros, depending on where you buy it from. Anyway, do let me know what you thought of this knife and sheath in the comment section below. Would you rather have this or a MORA knife? Let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching, take care, much love, see you next time.